Revolutionary greetings, the sons and daughters of the soil, the Azania. The political players of our country continue to disappoint us. So far, nothing has been done since they take over the office. They call it the Government of National Unity under the leadership of Dunk. Why am I saying that? The political readjustment of the world means that those who are not sufficiently able, not sufficiently prepared, will be at the mercy of the organized rich nations. The black natives are disarmed of their land and dignity, and we are the nation without a home, but squattered in the colonial territory called South Africa. The only protection against injustices in man is power, physical, financial, and land. We are indeed scrambling for everything we need in our lives. The black mind is captured and conquered. It has been like that over the decades. The biggest obstacle is beyond the captured and conquered mind, but our subconsciousness, which is working like a server within our soul. Our soul is programmed in the way that whatever we want to create or establish, the rooted indoctrination rise above everything and ensure fear and disbelief. That dictates our manifestation of thinking and actions. Then we are back to the mental enslavement. We betray our struggle just to be accepted within the cruel system if we don't prepare ourselves. If we don't separate ourselves from distraction, then the distraction will separate us from our goal. Competition is the law of the jungle, while cooperation is the law of the civilized nation. We must avoid the neutrals because they will betray black agenda struggle because they are cowards and spineless to take a stand against injustices, and they'd rather seek validation from the slave master. Our independence was blindly handled by bourgeoisie, house slaves, hence we still find imperialists owning our land and economy while we continue to enjoy the exploitation and slavery. In our motherland, they disguised as investors. Some of us are truth tellers in the worldview that created comfortable liars to manipulate unsuspecting, ignorant masses through their mainstream media. Salute, leadership. We need to wake up. The settlers couldn't share the land with the black natives. Somehow they convinced the natives that they'd share heaven with them after death. We need to change our mindset. The land is our heritage we must take back by any means necessary. Black men, we must restore self-confidence in us as a nation. We must stop seeking validation from the colonial masters. They denied us freedom to our own cultural expression for decades. They denied us the rights to educate unless we are firstly converted into Christianity. They took away our glorious dressing until we even forgot that we had our own style that covered black women. The rich black man is colonized into believing being black is inferior and worthless, while being white is glamorous and sophisticated. As we navigate the behavior of the bourgeoisie, are still slaves mentally, spiritually, culturally, and physically, and it's not funny. The system was never designed for us to win. That's why we must break all the rules and carve our own path through the revolutionary means. The entire world is after African resources. We are at war with many nations and we don't have the luxury to depend on the same people. We need to establish African superstate to defend the children of Africa, its land and wealth. We are in the age of knowing, not believing. Many people are religious adherents and fanatic. Your beliefs shouldn't turn us into irresponsible people. We must remember that blessings are given when we work hard to create life for ourselves and to be generation to the generation thereof. The nation that pray and rely wholeheartedly on magic that nation will always depend on other nations that think and develop. It is a known fact that Africa love their religion. They fill up churches praying every day. The prayer is not in the success equation, but revelation equation. Decision making is in the success equation, and we have to make a sound decision and establish our economic institutions to get our nation out of poverty in the process. It doesn't help to claim you have Holy Spirit, yet you are still ignorant, because that is our number one killer. We must ask ourselves, how come is it only the poor people who suffer from the demon spirits? Yet rich people never roll down in churches because demons attacked them. Never. We say it is time for our nation to rise and be accountable and claim its position in the global stage. Complaining doesn't help. Recognizing a problem and finding a solution is key. We are the only nation in the world who live the life we don't deserve. We suffered so much to build up other nations, to the point now you don't see what is holding us back from progressing and building our own. We are still living under the brainwashed conditions, shackles where we can't remove from our minds. Politicians use demagoguery rhetorics, the practice of gaining power and influence by appealing to people's emotions, fear, prejudices, and ignorance, rather than by using rational arguments or genuine policies. They promise simple solutions to their complex problem, and scapegoating of a particular group to rally support. This approach often involves manipulation and deceit, aiming to arouse a popular passion rather than fostering informed decision-making and thoughtful debate. This makes it a powerful tool that those who understand how to manipulate human psychology. We constantly ask our ancestors to protect, guide, to teach us, and to raise us to understand the creative intelligence of life force within us as the Black nation. We are not here to wake up those who want to remain asleep. We are here for those who didn't know they are asleep. Culture determined education. Only in Africa, education means indoctrination, completely out of touch with oneness, our culture, history, and heritage. The worst of the society manipulated by the politicians is when we see the poor defending the rich who are responsible for their poverty and exploitation. If it is our dream to take our land back and determine our destiny and become a mighty race, then we must change our mindset and develop an appetite for power. We must not dare waste time with those who are conquered souls. They suffer from cognitive dissonance and they are incapable of dealing with reality. We shouldn't put wool on our faces when we confront these realities. No country can progress when its politics are more profitable than industries. Those in government are richer than entrepreneurs. Hence, they'll continue to manufacture poverty that impacted negatively to the poor masses. There is 18 million waiting, 18 million population waiting for government grants monthly, and 10 million waiting for special relief grant from the government, totaling of 28 million population, which means South Africa is not creating new jobs at the same time. It is not sustaining the current jobs. South Africa is basically a grant state. The money is spent on things that doesn't stimulate the economy, because majority doesn't own the land, and that put a lot of pressure on the government fiscus. Only less than 10% of the budget go into economic stimulation, which is not enough to create anything. Consumer spending is not good since the demand is high while the country doesn't have enough money for circulation. Let's stand up the children of Robert Sobukwe, Steve Bantu Bonke Biko, Chris Hani, Mbambata, Sukukuni, the children of Mahlangu, Ngegana, Langa, all the kings and their kingdoms of our land. Let's rise up and claim our throne. Let's rise up and be counted. We cannot longer rely on the people who chose to sleep with the enemy while the children of Africa are still suffering. Let's stand up. Nothing is okay. We cannot bury our head and expect things to change. We must be the change we want it to be. Let's stand up and fight for the home for the place to call home, Azania. South Africa must fall, Azania must rise. Izwe lethu